the people, I'm for the people, make blackness legal. Deliver us from all the evil, this here the sequel. This for the art, we raise the shot, we go ball.
So, dragging on to social justice and equality, what are some of the most pressing issues of social justice that are facing our society today, more specifically towards racism?
To start, police brutality is a huge issue because as a black person, we always have to worry about like when we see the police. Oh, are we gonna get shot? Like, are we gonna get accused of something we didn't do? Because it's been a huge thing for the past few years, and I think that's an issue. Like the whole police model is to preserve and protect. So
In theory.
yeah, if the police's job is to preserve and protect, what are how are we supposed to rely on them if they're not doing that?
It's not just like the police outside, like anywhere where you see a cop, like in a school, in a mall, you will have to be on your guard, or else next thing you know, you're getting handcuffed on the floor.
Sure.
I think about the sentiment about Blue Lives Matter, and it always enrages me, especially when I see the flags, because obviously it's to contradict Black Lives Matter, but I think something that's really important to understand is that officer can choose when they no longer want to serve and protect, but I can't choose to not be black. And I think, like, to always know that there's a target on your back, and to always know that you may not even necessarily be doing anything wrong. Like, I think about most recently Sonia Massey, and seeing the video. I watched the video and I was in tears. Like, it was like early in the morning, and I was just full on crying because it was just so incredibly sad to see, like, just the amount of kindness and the amount of love and appreciation she was showing for the officers, and just the way that she was just murdered in her own home. It was very disturbing to see, and it's just not going to stop unless something is really done. And we need, I really do believe that we need a complete police reform, and potentially we need to defund the police, because if this is what's happening and if we're only serving and protecting some people, then what really is our police system? Like, who are we actually serving and who are we actually protecting?
Yeah, like with that, in my terms, like when I was like younger, the police, I would think like, like, oh yeah, they're here to serve and protect and keep us safe. Keep like bad people away, but like in reality, it's really them. Like they just like make things worse. Like Brianna said, in my thoughts, police are supposed to keep us safe. They don't really keep us safe, in my opinion. Like they keep us in our thoughts that like we're not safe and you can't even trust them.
Can I just ask, do you feel like this is policing in general, or is it just a few bad actors that's kind of reflecting on the whole?
It's a few of the people, because there is like good cops.
100%.
There's like, I've met good people, but then there's some with like, bad intentions onto people. Like, they, of course people take their job serious, but like a little too serious. And then just don't have any good intentions with it. But it's like really good people and bad people in the same time, that don't have good intentions, which isn't like, like why be a cop if you want to like do those things if you're not really like serving and like,
Protecting.
doing right by the community. Sure. And people can't rely on them. Like me personally, I can't rely on them because I already don't feel safe, like, in their presence.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but yeah.
Oh, can I go next? Oh, to add to that, I feel like the discussion needs to be brought up of not everyone needs to be a police officer. We should, like, police, who like hires them again?
Yeah.
But
I believe this department itself. I'm not sure, but I know there is an academy that.
Yeah, like police academies. There should be like a whole process,
better filtering system.
Yeah, like some type of way to just like not let everyone be a police, because it's a huge problem when you let just regular people have so much power.
What I was gonna say is, like, softly countering the start of what Deja said about the idea that there is good cops, and more that cops are in place and the police are in place to support the law and to support the systems in place in the US. And so, even though there could be good people that are cops, once they put that badge on, they're supporting laws that are based in oppression and are
Yeah.
based in societal repression and in exploitation. And so, there's no way that someone who is supporting those laws actively, professionally, could be good at least while they're in the act of doing that, whether or not they have good ideas and they're good outside of that context.
I kind of want to add to that and go on to racial profiling because it's not just police you have to worry about. Any government official who racially profiles someone just based on their appearance or the color of their skin automatically feels like we're a danger to them or we're a danger to others. I've literally seen a DMV officer profile a member of my family just because the way he looked when
Yeah.
he was going in for his license exam.
Wow.
That was just not okay. Like literally the next day, they met my other family member who looks very different than the rest of us, and he got greeted with a warm-hearted welcome.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is just everywhere during the government's accentuaries.
That's very true. One thing I would say is with any industry, there's always going to be people who are abusing their power, especially when they're in authority positions. But the problem is with the police system is these people have even more power. They have weapons, they have guns. Like people's lives are at stake because of this abuse of authority. So there's a lot more responsibility, and there needs to be better screening.
So let me ask you this, and the answer obviously is both, but what do you feel like it's more of? Is it more of a personnel issue, or is it more of a systemic issue?
I feel like it's both. Like a systemic issue would be like they're raised to believe these things about certain ways and certain people, but I also think it's a personnel issue because for one, like look around you, we have lives, we do things that shouldn't justify your beliefs.
I think it's also more a systemic issue, not just in the ways that racism plays into our society in an overall sense, but also in the ways that police as a role in society have historically been built to repress people of color and specifically black people. And that is the foundation that police and a lot of other quote unquote public servants, their roles are built upon.
Yeah, like what Javi said. And I also feel like, they have they feel like they have authority, which they do. We all have authority of our lives and do things, that we want to do. Because we all make good and bad decisions at times. But I feel like since they have a badge, they move with their whole life, depending on it, they're unstoppable or something, or they see they have no wrong because they have the title of being a cop. I feel like even with and without the badge, they're the same people as us.
Yeah.
If we was to see them without the badge, someone comes to them aggressively or something, they're in the same situation as us. But of course, the whole title of being a cop, it just goes a long way into people thinking that things are okay because they have that title and a badge when it really means nothing because they're literally the same people just like us.
They're just people.
Yeah.
So the question that I kind of want to ask from this list is, so how can individuals make a positive impact in their community to kind of protect social justice, specifically in regards to police brutality and just policing in general?
I think just spreading awareness and having open conversations and doing your part in doing research and making sure that you're staying informed.
Yeah.
Because I think the worst thing that you can do is spread misinformation or speak on something and you don't have the full facts on it.
Sure.
Especially what we were talking about with police brutality. It's easy for someone who's misinformed to say, well, police officers are just doing their job. If they feel threatened, then they have to do what they have to do and they have to make split decisions. And I always hear this phrase of split decisions, but at the end of the day, like Jade was saying, police officers have such a big responsibility. And I think it's up to us to make that positive impact, to not even just with police officers in general, but just generally speaking. It's important to spread awareness about social justice issues, because if they just fly under the radar, then no one's going to realize the inequities and the disparities of issues if they just aren't being recognized.
Just kind of elaborate on that. Do you feel like the people saying that these cops do have dangerous jobs and have to make split decisions, do you feel like that's an invalid point, or do you feel like that's valid?
I feel like it's valid to a certain extent. I do understand how dangerous it is to be a police officer. I can understand.
It's a hard job.
Yes, like I'm not even gonna invalidate that, because I can understand if you feel threatened. But I think also you have to understand from a Black person's perspective, or just in general a person of color's perspective, like how it is for us, to see so many of members of the Black community be just ruthlessly taken, their lives ruthlessly taken by police officers. It's hard to have trust in our policing system. So I think the respect and just the mutual understanding goes both ways. Like we understand that you have such a dangerous job. At the end of the day, it isn't justified to just take somebody's life just because you feel scared or just because you feel threatened. Like you have to think before you just are so quick to do something, because you could do something that was completely unwarranted. And I think Sonia Massey's case, and again, there's so many others, but I think her case in particular highlights that for sure.
How do you think police could build that trust with the community, other than just kind of roaming the streets and just detailing? Like, how do you build that trust where a person of color can call 911 in an emergency and feel like it will be dealt with in a fair manner?
I think it all comes down to who. It's gonna be like what I said already, but it all comes down to who we're putting in this position of power.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is inherently a bad person or racist. It's taught. And I think we need to be more aware about that, like in schools too. Like in my experience, I grew up around like a lot of different types of people, so I was always, accepting of everyone I saw. But in other people's perspective, like the police, you could be raised to not like a certain type of people, and it's not to justify that or anything, but like this whole issue starts from when you're born, like what your parents indoctrinate you to think, and then the police brutality, like the whole victims, that's where this whole thing stems from.
Yeah.
I think that what we need is clear consequence. If someone's like a brain surgeon, they can't afford to be just making mistakes left and right. They're going to lose their jobs.
That's a good point.
Why is it different with police? Why can they shoot someone and it's just a slap on the wrist? And, try not to do that again. No, I feel that they should be charged by this very same system that they're perpetuating.
Also, kind of bouncing off what Jade's saying, I feel like a lot of times where police officers do like inherently like purposely kill somebody, they're kind of put on like a thing where it's like a mental health thing, where it gets put on like, oh, like he had mental health issues. This is why we can't do this, that, the third. And it doesn't really make sense. It seems like an invalid excuse.
Yeah, because they don't do that for citizens.
They don't.
So,
yeah.
No, I agree. I feel like you kind of touched on earlier about how you mentioned you grew up around different types of people. I think exposure is a big part of it, right? Because a lot of these issues with police brutality is stemmed from bias.
Right.
And bias is due to ignorance, right? If a lot of these cops that are policing these communities aren't from these communities. So there's no incentive to really keep people safe like that in a way that they would protect their communities, right?
Exactly.
So I think figuring out different ways to kind of facilitate exposure, whether it be, town days or certain events where both communities kind of come together, or even just figuring out ways to incentivize people to become police who are from those actual neighborhoods, who already have established relationships with the people within the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to ask the next question.
Oh, would anybody else like to add one last thing before? Oh, Brianna, you can go.
I'm just gonna say, I think also racial profiling. I think Giselle had brought it up earlier, but I think like you were saying, implicit bias. Like both of those are big factors. And I was just gonna like briefly just add that over policing is also just another issue.
Yeah.
Like you see how urban areas have so many more, and I see it because I'm a Dorchester resident myself, and I see how there's so many police in around my areas, but then you go like further out into Massachusetts and I don't see as many police officers. So it's just, again, it's just recognizing the bias that you may have and just the profiling and just making these blanket statements on communities can
Sure.
be really harmful.
100%.
Yeah. So this all kind of falls into our fourth discussion, which is the power of arts and creativity. And this can kind of fall into like what art means to you and how would you spread it throughout your community to help change.
Two things. One, both expression. I had a kind of a talking issue back when I was a younger kid, so it was kind of hard to communicate.
Specifically, what do you mean by talking issue?
A stutter.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of hard work, a lot of extra classes.
Sure.
I can talk better now, but it still flares up sometimes.
Sure.
And also because I was the quiet one in the family,
Okay.
so there's that.
Yeah.
It also means freedom. I come from a line of academic people. Like literally, my grandma was a teacher, so there was that. But I felt like art meant more freedom to me, especially in a society so based on like academic and memorization that falls on kids like right after they reach middle school. Like literally, what kid wants to learn the 50 states like and get a prize for that when you can learn how to do so many other creative things to be more passionate for? I feel like we're given a choice to either go down the line of academics, which is more prioritized for some reason, than leave a life of creativity that actually helped all humanity for over the next 100 years.
Sure.
Literally, we have airplanes to thank, artists to thank for airplanes, people.
Sure.
Yeah.
One thing I feel that's really important with art is, especially in our communities, is seeing art that represents that demographic. I forget what his name was, but an artist that we were shown before who has painted like multiple murals around like the Roxbury, Dorchester area. I forget what his name was.
Yeah.
But they're all pro-black. And they always have like black people, so it's like black children in those areas can see that and feel like, oh, even despite gentrification and all that, oh, I deserve to be here. I'm meant to be here. This is my community. So I think that's very important.
And I think that further, art and creativity in communities, to me, it means understanding. Like art and creativity, it's a good way to understand. Like what Giselle said, if maybe you understand like art and creative things better than you understand like words on a page or whatever. And that's okay, we all have different methods of getting our point across, and I think that art and creativity is a great way to value all of those methods.
Great. So how did you guys kind of individually kind of discover your passions and interests? Maybe first kind of maybe discuss about, talk about like your specified like mediums or something like that, you know what I mean? And then kind of figure out, then kind of discuss how you kind of went about discovering that interest.
Mine's kind of easy. I was one of those kids who wanted Crayola markers instead of Barbie dolls.
Okay.
So I kind of found that out like way ahead of most artists.
Okay.
So
you draw?
Yeah, I draw. I love markers because they're so colorful and so pretty. But nowadays I'm loving gel pens because now I don't have to worry about the bleeds. And I can just do it whenever I want. That actually got me in trouble a lot as a kid though. Doodling in my notebooks, but now I totally own it.
Okay. So can I ask what are you drawing?
I'm an illustration major,
Okay.
so I draw whatever comes to mind or whatever I think is worth going on the page.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, like back on Newbury Street, you see all the Gothic architecture in
Yeah,
Boston.
yeah.
Yeah, mostly that kind of stuff.
Okay. Anybody else? What are some interests?
I think most of my interests lie in music,
Okay.
but generally that's more just because I've been raised with music and I've been given a deeper connection to music.
Shout out E-Rock.
I don't think it's more because of some inherent connection I have, but I think it comes more naturally to me because of the way that I've been raised around it, and I'm drawn to it because it gives me a means of expression, and I think that's what draws me to any art form or any creative outlet that I choose to go towards is purely can I express my feelings or can I express my ideas through this in a way that people can understand and interpret in a way that could impact them.
Anybody else?
For me, one of my creative mediums I really like is writing music.
Okay.
For me, I'd say it started maybe a couple years ago, like 2020, 2021. A thing I'd always do is like if I really liked a song, I would like kind of like listen to the instrumental and then like write my own verse to it. And at first it was like just for fun. I was like, oh, it's almost like a big puzzle, like trying to see what words you can fit in to kind of complete this little song or verse or whatever. But eventually, because of TCP and this program, it's kind of become something I actually get to do regularly. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. So.
I started with poetry and writing, and then sort of branched out into songwriting. But I first started getting into like poetry and writing.
So for me, my passion is music, and it's because I always grew up around music.
Photography. It really started from my mom. She loves taking photos. It used to kind of like aggravate me, like why is there always a camera in my face? But after I grew onto it, like she just loves like memories and looking back, and
Sure.
I'm glad she was able to capture all those moments because I'm able to like look at a bunch of photos probably from like when I was a newborn until like now,
That's
like
so dope.
every age. But actually, I always wanted to like dance. So like I think from probably like 9 to probably 14, I was dancing for a while. Cause like it made me feel like I don't know, like I was expressing my feelings a lot and
Yeah.
like more free, like of movement. And then that's when like it went off to like photography, but like deep down I still like want to dance like in the future. Even though that like I took the characteristics from my mom to become a photographer because she always wanted to do it, and since she feels like she didn't have like an opportunity to do that after so much time passed by, like I told her that like I'll do it for her since like
That's dope.
like you like this so much and take it on from her.
How do you overcome self-doubt to pursue your dreams?
Something I always try to remind myself is how far I've come and what I've had to overcome to get to where I am today. I try to remember like what it took for me to get here and just remembering that I can do it. Like if whenever I have said that I can't do something, I've always proved myself wrong. So I just try to remember that, and if I can't do something, like I just try to remind myself that it's okay, like, and I try to give myself grace because we can't do everything.
Yeah.
But I think just the things that I really set my mind to, I notice I can really achieve if I really just put in the work and I ask for help. And the main thing really is just setting goals and then doing what you can to reach them.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that's all.
I'd say most importantly, delusion. But like a
I love
healthy
that. I
amount.
love that. I absolutely love that.
Because I feel like anyone that's ever gotten somewhere, anyone
Mhm.
who's achieved a lot, they had to have been at a place where they said, I can do this. I could be the president. I could be famous. Oprah had to say, I could be Oprah one day,
Yeah.
And she did become Oprah. Point is, you have to really be willing to like reach far for
Sure.
yourself and not just settle for what you think is realistic, especially for your ultimate goal. You have to have something that's really like even out of the box.
Sure.
Don't be afraid to explore and try out things.
For me, it's like faith, because faith goes a long way. Like faith in myself, and really just applying pressure to things that I want, because like, working hard to get somewhere, like it's all worth it at the end, even though like you may be tired and stuff, or feel like it's not working. Like, it all comes together and it will like, work out for the best at the end. But mostly just faith, and knowing like I'm able to do something that like I like.
Want to add on to like all y'all's response, because I feel like the biggest self doubt we have is from, I know I shouldn't say it, but haters.
Yeah.
Because like there will always be someone who thinks that your dream is minuscule compared to their goals, and their realistic dreams are more can happen faster than yours. But I feel like just kick those thoughts to the curb, because it is your dream, no one else's, your ambition, your goals. Like, it's okay to have an ego, guys. That's how we were able to reach our dreams. Like, did we all think that Michelangelo didn't have an ego?
Yeah.
He literally made a flying machine.
Yeah.
Right.
Peer pressure. I don't think it always has to be negative. I think that if you have people that look up to you or people that you look up to in your life, like, for example, I know my little siblings all look up to me, and I'm really honored that they do. So every time I think about giving up, it's like, I don't want to set that kind of example for them.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
love that.
I have people I look up to, like my friends. And it's like, they really inspire me to get past that self-doubt. So, and then the other thing is that if you tell someone else about your dreams and ambitions, that makes it real. And then having someone else to sort of hold you accountable to your own dreams also helps getting past that self-doubt.
Are there any dreams and ambitions you guys are willing to share with us today? What you got?
Y'all better not laugh.
No, we're not laughing here.
Judgment-free zone.
All right. My dream is to become a combination of the next Walt Disney and Stan Lee. So not like be them, which I can never be. I want to be something even greater than they. Like create my own franchise that will pass on for generations even after I'm gone.
Okay. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Oh, and I won't be corrupted into global possession, so I won't make you guys buy arms and legs of stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward
That's
to
noble.
that.
I'm not going to be
That's
corporate,
noble.
I promise.
Anybody else willing to share?
Oh, I'll go, I guess.
Yeah.
So, my dream is to like just make music, and objectively, my goal isn't to like be famous or anything, but I just want to inspire a bunch of people the same way my favorite artists inspired me.
Sure.
I know I said that like a bunch of times, but like
it's worth
I really
reiterating.
want to make a big impact in the world, and like just help people.
I think I have a very, very similar dream or aspiration, which is that, like, it's two sides of it, where part of it is just I hope that I can live life where I make my living and my main focus is music, career-wise, and that I can make a living and reach goals that I want to reach in that aspect. But then a big part of it is I also want to be able to, like, influence and inspire people.
For me, mine is kind of oddly specific, but I really want to be like a writer, but like write about like psychology and philosophy, because I'm into those things.
In an academic way?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In that way.
Okay.
Like I want to be like a little philosopher. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they have any more.
I can hear
now.
it. I can hear it in the way you talk.
Appreciate that.
All right. So the next question I would have for you guys is, how does setbacks and failures help us grow and learn as creatives / artists?
I feel like setbacks and failures I've really have grown to love. I think I used to really have an issue with, or not even necessarily an issue, but I would have a hard time with failure, and it's still something that I'm working on. But I think the moments where you have setbacks and things don't go as you expect it to are really the moments where you grow and you learn. Like even something as silly as my driver's license. Like I had to take the test 3 times to pass, but in all those moments that I failed, they just made me more determined, and they made me more, I guess, they made me more aware of the mistakes that I was making. And I feel like that can be applicable to many things in life. Sometimes things aren't going to always go as you expect it to or how you planned it to, but I think it's just really the way that you think about it and your mindset. Just knowing that as long as you don't give up and you keep staying determined and you remember why you're doing something and what you want to achieve, I think anything is possible. And I think setback and failure only reminds you of how much you want something.
Basically, so for like an example, I was like in an all girls group like during the summer. It's called We Are Better Together. And like things that they will always bring up to us is like step back to come back. You know, come back when you feel like it and when it's needed. You know, do things on your time because it's no rush to do things in life. And like it also of like setting beside like your feelings and stuff. And moving on your time because you don't have to move on everyone's time like when it's needed or necessary. You know, you move when you're ready to.
It's your journey, right?
Huh?
It's your journey.
Exactly. It's your journey. It's your life, and it's basically like yeah, like your story that you're writing. So you know, like.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I feel like it's very important to try to have fun. Because even for me personally, like I've never been a great dancer, even though I've like done some dancing when I was younger. But despite that, I had tried out for my high school's like dance team at one point. Did terrible. It was awful. The old me, I feel like, would have like went through that and been like, oh, this is so terrible, and had all these bad things to say about myself. But because at the time I was just, having fun with it, I was just like, hey, I did pretty bad. And I was able to just kind of like almost like laugh at myself. And I didn't feel bad afterwards, I still felt good. I don't think I'll try dancing again, but it was still a great experience. And everything doesn't always have to go our way. Sometimes that's not what's meant to happen for you. And you may not be good at one thing, but you could be great at something else. So
Yeah, I want to add on to what both you are saying because, like, we've all been through things. Like, we've tried other new things to get out of our comfort zone. I feel like time and setbacks really get like come hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you failed at this one thing, but like later on in life, you feel like, hey, I did pretty good at this stage of my life, and I can build off that.
Yeah.
Literally, like I can relate to Jay because I used to be a cheerleader. I was bad at it, like super bad at it. I was very competitive, but I felt like it was a way to show like a new side of myself, which pushed me onto the path I wanted to. And I feel like that happens a lot with what we do, like what we're passionate about. We think we failed at this one little project, but when we come back and like, hey, I know how to fix this to make it like up to date and more of what I want to be, So failure is just another way of saying, hey, I've made another step towards my goal. It's like the saying with light bulb. I have found 1,000 ways to not create the light bulb.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
The way, for me, the way that I deal with failure or like setbacks, I see it as less of mistakes and more of a learning experience. Like to quote my dad, he said, it's not what you go through, it's how you come out of it. And I take that to heart like every day because I've been through a lot of things, but you should never see failure as a bad thing. Like failure is in a way progress.
It is 100%. I would say it 100% a form of progress for sure.
To build off of that, I'd say a big aspect of it is kind of acknowledging that progress is almost never linear. typically you're going to almost always have drops, you're going to have declines, you're going to have points where you're actually taking steps back from where you started. And then you still got to acknowledge what those steps back were in order to move forward. Like, to quote like 98% of rappers, you have to turn all your L's into lessons. And like you kind of got to acknowledge that there is something to move forward with, some type of knowledge that you can take or worldview you can take from everything that happens, just in a general sense.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like now, especially with what everyone was saying about how progress or failure is progress, like even now I see how eager I am to get feedback and to get like ways to improve. Like I always seek back things that I can do better, because I think it's always great to be acknowledged for what you're doing well, but it's another to be told what you can do to improve. Because I think in moments of failure and in moments where you have setbacks are your moments where you can really like grow and
Yes.
thrive as a person.
Yes.
So I think just remembering that setbacks and failures aren't always necessarily a negative thing, and it can actually be a really positive thing if you look at it like that.
For sure.
What are your accomplishments and how does that contribute to your personal growth?
I'd say one of the most important accomplishments I've had for myself is I'd say learning how to perform, and learning how to perform in a way where I can reflect on it and feel good about the performance I put on. Because there's in public performing, there's a lot of vulnerability. You're letting everyone see this thing you've done, but you're also letting everyone see not a recorded version, not a perfected version, but a version that's happening right there in front of them.
Yeah.
And I think learning how to not just have that vulnerability, but be comfortable in that vulnerability is the accomplishment creatively that I've appreciated the most.
I'd say for me, one of my more recent achievements is songwriting, but for other people. I've been used to just like writing stuff like for myself and just kind of keeping it in my notes. Or if I did like use it for something, it would be like more like personal. So this was kind of a way for me to like see my work, but like not from me almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
seeing someone like maybe perform something and it's like, oh wow, I wrote that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, just to like talk about that a little bit, like it's so cool to be able to take your talents and like have that give confidence to other people,
Yeah.
and to give people this like confidence in a skill that they never knew that they had.
Sure.
Like I never thought I'd be rapping. Like that's the last thing I thought I would be doing. But I think just like having the encouragement and just having the support makes you really step out of your comfort zone. But yeah, speaking on like my own accomplishments, I would say what I'm most proud of is how much I've just taken charge of my mental health. I think for so long, I've just kind of neglected it and thought that it would go away. And I think after a while, I realized that I'm really neglecting myself and I'm really letting myself go. And I think now that I've really prioritized my mental health, it's made me a better person, because now I'm so much more in tune with who I am and what I need. And I think it's so important to just take a look inside and to always remember that you are your biggest priority.
Yes.
And to not let anybody take that away from you. Just remembering like how important it is to always pour into yourself is something I've learned.
Yeah, what Brianna said mostly, really just accomplishing, like being grateful for things that I have now, and like obtaining my mental health, you know, like getting myself out of like dark places and having myself together. Just doing things that I and like I said, being grateful for things that I have right now because life is like too short. And just treating people good, being different, and like mostly just like I've been breaking cycles in my family, like being a good person for myself.
Dope. That's dope.
For me, my accomplishment is gonna be like a little personal compared to everyone else.
Okay.
But I think so far recently, my biggest accomplishment was, being comfortable in my own skin by finally like being okay with who I am as a person, and just like um reflecting on who I am as a person, and I'm just okay with who I am now. And I could say that like it's gonna sound like corny, but like it's thanks to you guys.
Mm.
I love that, dude. I absolutely love that, and it's not corny. And can I just say that that's going to be the foundation of your greatness? And I can tell you right now, you are going to be great.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of a combination. It's being able to show what my work can do. Like, I've been known to be the kind of like quiet type back in the day. So when I found the courage to show my work, it literally paid off by getting me into my dream school, and now I'm able to find my people and show and do what I love for a living, getting closer to my goal. So yeah, like I will never trade that for anything.
I love that.
I think my greatest accomplishment recently has been the relationships that I've built with my friends, my siblings, with myself, with my community. I think I'm proud of the fuller understanding that I'm getting of my community and how I fit into it.
Love that.
So I've heard a lot from everybody here on this podcast, and I want to thank you guys for, expressing your thoughts and ideas. So we're gonna, give a little round of applause for everybody. Yeah. I also want to thank my co-host Jean for helping me out, and yeah, that's it.
Great show, guys. Great show.